Indiana Fever beat the Dallas Wings 102-83. This was a highly anticipated game because it was going to be the first time that Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers would be going up against one another in.
The Indiana Fever rolled past the Dallas Wings 102-83 in one of the most anticipated matchups of the season, marking the first professional showdown between Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers. For years, basketball fans have followed the rivalry between these two generational talents, from their days as elite high school recruits to their unforgettable college battles. Clark starred at Iowa while Bueckers built her legacy at UConn, and Clark often had the upper hand when they met on the biggest stages. With questions lingering about how Clark's game would translate to the WNBA, all eyes were on this matchup. What followed was more than just a win, it was another historic performance that added to Clark's growing legacy. Imagine two young stars destined to cross paths for years, each bringing a unique style to the court. Clark dazzled with her scoring, passing, and limitless range, while Bueckers impressed with her efficiency, mid-range touch, and elite court vision. Their college journeys took very different paths. Bueckers joined the powerhouse UConn program under Gino Auriemma, while Clark chose Iowa and helped elevate the program into a national contender. Those choices of...
Hey Caitlin, you've known Paige since middle school, AAU, you guys were on the U19 World Cup team together. Is there anything that maybe stood out then about her, whether it be on or off the court, that maybe still reigns true today?
I mean, I feel like she's played in the same manner that she, has since she was, whether we were on the U16 team together, U19 team together, whether it was me watching her in AAU, like she's always just been smooth. She takes what the game gives her. Her midi has always been as nice as it's been this year. She's just she just plays way older than she is. Like she's confident, she's smooth, she just does everything at a high level, can score from all three levels. And that's how she's always played, and that's obviously
eventually led to memorable NCAA tournament clashes that shaped both careers. Clark delivered some of her best performances on the biggest stage, including a 41-point masterpiece that helped send UConn home and strengthened her head-to-head edge over Bueckers. As their success grew, fans and analysts increasingly viewed their competition as one of the defining rivalries in women's basketball. Throughout Clark's rise, some respected voices questioned whether her style would translate seamlessly to the professional game.
And a lot of people are saying, oh, everything is she was Caitlin before Caitlin, she's better than Caitlin and all this stuff. That kind of stopped in the media. Caitlin Clark put up better numbers in the WNBA.
Critics pointed to her shot selection and believed Bueckers' more traditional approach might adapt more naturally to the WNBA. The debate ultimately became a comparison between two different forms of basketball excellence: Clark's explosive, high-risk creativity and Bueckers' smooth, efficient execution. Once both players entered the WNBA, anticipation immediately began building for their first meeting as professionals.
And Diana said it best, this kid's in for a rude awakening. And they all jumped over her, but they didn't read the whole thing that she said. But nobody's printing, Diana Taurasi was right. This kid's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league. And she's a rookie. And if you're a WNBA player, if you're any kind of player, you're going to say, I'm going to...
Clark arrived carrying a winning record against Bueckers from their college matchups, but she was also facing fresh scrutiny about her early professional performances. With national television coverage and intense fan interest, the stage was set for a highly watched showdown that could influence the narrative surrounding both young stars. Leading into the matchup, Indiana was struggling to find consistency.
Our player development coach yesterday, and he was just sent me a few things of even Steph going through a slump. I think he was 27 for his last 70 or something like that. The best in the world go through it, and I think that's where you can find your confidence. And I think the thing I always fall back on is I know how hard I've worked, so this isn't something that's going to last, and the best players in the world go through this. So I feel like I'm getting good shots, and I think that's why it's frustrating, because those are the shots that I make.
Fever had suffered disappointing losses to teams many believed they should have beaten, including setbacks against Los Angeles and Golden State. Those defeats raised questions about the team's direction and increased the pressure heading into a nationally televised game against Dallas. At the same time, a broader discussion surrounded Indiana's style of play. Clark thrives in an up-tempo system built
Stretch, this is a big game for us. I think we've struggled in the fact that we're able to play one good game and then we play a bad game, then we play a good game, then we play a bad game. So I think for us is like we got to find a way to be able to stack really good games together, and then we go on the road and we're on a back-to-back, which is just a challenge in itself. No matter who you're playing, we play Connecticut, then we play New York. So I think Steph's message was, yes, All-Stars coming up, that break's coming up, but our focus is on these 3 games that we have left. So in that sense, I do think it's critical that our focus just remains on the game in front of us, and I feel like that's what everybody in the locker room is doing.
built around transition opportunities and quick decision-making, while Stephanie White often preferred a more controlled half-court approach. That contrast became a major talking point, especially after a visibly intense exchange between player and coach during a previous game. The differing philosophies created questions about whether the team was maximizing Clark's strengths.
There is definitely something going on within the locker room, the front office. Something is off, man. This is the 3rd situation in one game we have had involving Caitlin Clark and the coaching staff and pretty much another player. And it looked like Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White definitely had a situation where they was in a heated exchange right before.
Personnel changes and injuries only complicated matters further. Clark was working her way back into rhythm after missing time, while other key players were returning from international commitments. The constant adjustments disrupted chemistry, affected rotations, and contributed to offensive inconsistency. Missed shots and turnovers.
It can be frustrating when your shot isn't going in the way that you want it to, but then I look at the box and it's like I'm really 4 shots away from having a really good game, a really good shooting game. So that's where you find your confidence, and I know those are shots that I can make, and I'm never going to stop shooting. So, until I break out of it, I'm just going to keep launching, and that's all I know, and I'm still confident in everything.
Became recurring issues, and the fast-paced identity that many associated with Clark was rarely seen. Even during her shooting slump, however, Clark remained confident, insisting she would continue taking the shots she knew she could make. Although Indiana eventually ended its losing streak, questions about the team's direction remained unresolved. That made the Dallas matchup a critical test. Would Indiana finally embrace the style Clark excels in, or would the same limitations continue to hold the offense back? As
Leah Rue the other night had a season-high 18 points. Here's Boston turning the corner. Dishing to Hull. Extra feed Clark. A deep 3. You bet! And he actually brought up stats from a shooting slump Steph Curry went through. She said that made her feel a lot better. That pass will as well. Right on the money to Mitchell.
Cunningham attacked the closeout.
Clark, the rejection of Quinterly. Clark, the flick ahead. Oh, beautifully done. Touchdown fever.
the game approached, the spotlight intensified. Then a major shift occurred.
Here's Clark being hawked by Isaiah James. Clark sidestepping 3 is good. Clark backing down Quinterly. 6 to shoot, fading away and dropping it in. Beautiful. Here's Clark off the screen, through the lane, feeds Howard. Another assist for Clark. That's 13. As Howard is up to 18 points.
Stephanie White placed more trust in Clark to dictate the pace, allowing her greater control of the offense and creating an opportunity for Indiana to play faster and more aggressively than it had in previous games. The opening quarter provided no immediate answers. Both teams settled into the game cautiously, and while Indiana looked solid, it had not yet separated itself. Clark was
from a shooting slump Steph Curry went through. She said that made her feel a lot better. That pass will as well. Right on the money to Mitchell. A tenacious start from Caitlin Clark. Here's Agumbawale off on a 3. Long rebound. Mitchell. You're not going to catch her. Kelsey Mitchell in for 2. They elevate each other because of how hard they compete. Nice look, Aaliyah Boston with a gorgeous dime to Kelsey.
Distributing the ball effectively and involving her teammates, but Dallas remained competitive and the contest still felt very much in doubt. Everything changed in the second quarter. Clark began pushing the tempo relentlessly, turning defensive stops into quick scoring chances and delivering the long outlet passes that have become a signature part of her game. Indiana
Mitchell bounces, Boston, one more time. This time Mitchell delivering. And Boston up to 13 points. Indiana shooting 66%.
Loaded for 36 points in the period and outscored Dallas by 21, transforming a competitive game into a showcase of fast-paced, efficient basketball. Clark's teammates elevated their play right alongside her. Kelsey Mitchell continued her scoring brilliance with 20 points and extended her streak of double-digit games, while Natasha Howard dominated in transition and around the basket with remarkable efficiency. Aaliyah Boston controlled the interior, finishing opportunities created by Clark's playmaking and demonstrating the growing chemistry between the two stars. Together, they formed a balanced attack that Dallas struggled to contain.
Cunningham the rebound. Cunningham swiftly up the floor, finds Howard for two. Sophie Cunningham making a huge impact off the bench, and Dallas will take a timeout.
In this lineup, Natasha Howard is the quickest post.
What made the performance even more impressive was the history being made. Indiana scored a franchise record 64 first-half points and tied a team record with 30 assists. Clark accounted for 13 of those assists, orchestrating an offense that moved with purpose and precision. The ball rarely stuck, every possession generated quality looks, and Sophie Cunningham provided a valuable spark off the bench, contributing key points and energy that further stretched Dallas' defense.
Good dub. 2 in a row. 2 more to All-Star. Let's go.
W. Oh, Fever down, so you already know what's coming. Bow, bow, bow! On to the next. Hell yeah! Can you use that one? Let's go, baby. Give your energy to Kristen. W. Now we gotta go get another one.
Clark backing down Quinterly. 6 to shoot, fading away, and dropping it in. Beautiful mid-range fadeaway from Caitlin Clark.
Indiana's second quarter explosion ranked among the best offensive stretches in franchise history. The Fever shot at an extraordinary rate and overwhelmed Dallas with a prolonged scoring run that completely shifted momentum. The Wings struggled to keep up with the speed, ball movement, and transition opportunities. More importantly, the game offered compelling evidence that Indiana could thrive when playing at a faster pace, validating the style Clark has long been associated with. As impressive as the team performance was, Clark's individual stat line was quietly becoming historic. She contributed across every area of the game, scoring efficiently while creating opportunities for teammates. As the night progressed, her impact expanded to the defensive end as well. With points, assists, and defensive plays piling up, she was putting together one of the most complete performances of her season.
Cunningham attacked the closeout.
Clark the rejection of Quinterly. Clark the flick ahead. Oh, beautifully done. Tuck down Fever.
Sophie Cunningham runs the route and puts her hand up in the air, gives Caitlin Clark the target. Barely over the fingertips of Hines Allen. Beautiful, beautiful pass. Catch, in stride, finish. Beautiful basketball.
The defining moment arrived when Clark recorded her 5th steal, completing a remarkable stat line of 14 points, 13 assists, and 5 steals. That achievement placed her alone in WNBA history as the only player to record that exact combination multiple times. Her influence extended beyond the box score, as she turned defensive stops into immediate scoring chances and consistently disrupted Dallas' offensive rhythm through anticipation, awareness, and relentless activity. Dallas had no answer for Clark's all-around brilliance. Key Wings players struggled to find offensive rhythm, while Indiana's defensive pressure made life difficult throughout the game. Attempts to slow Clark with physical play ultimately backfired, as she used the extra attention to create opportunities for teammates and exploit openings in the defense. By the final buzzer, the 102-83 score reflected Indiana's complete control. Clark silenced critics, showcased her growth as a professional, and delivered a performance that reinforced her place among the league's premier talents while adding another memorable chapter to her rivalry with Bueckers.
Feel like this was one of their best games as far as playing Fever basketball, which is a fast-paced style of basketball. They played Fever basketball for, I would say, about 75 to 80% of the game. And we have obviously seen this style of basketball, the style of basketball that we all know and love from the Indiana Fever, but we have only really seen it in short spurts. There have been so many games and so many times throughout this season where it feels like the Fever system is a slow down basketball type of system. Their offense wasn't running smoothly, but in this game, they were playing quick. They were moving the ball around. They had so many points off of the
This victory served as a powerful reminder of both Clark's individual greatness and Indiana's potential as a team.
Franchise records were matched or broken, historic milestones were achieved, and the Fever finally displayed the fast, dynamic style many fans had been waiting to see.
Perhaps most importantly, the chemistry between Clark, her teammates, and the coaching staff appeared stronger than ever. With challenging games still ahead and the Clark-Bueckers rivalry entering a new professional era, there is plenty for basketball fans to look forward to as the season continues.